All right, well, we have four of us, so I think I'm going to start. Evan is not attending. So I'll call the meeting to order at 6:02. We have a hard stop at 5 to 7 tonight, so we can move through things quickly.
I wrote the minutes and sent them all out to you. I'd like to, oh, I guess I first should say, let's start the meeting at 6:02. I need a second.
Again.
Thank you. And I sent the meeting minutes, as I just said, and for review, is it okay to send those to the town meeting coordinator for publication?
Yes.
Do we approve the meetings? Do we approve the meeting minutes? Yes.
Okay, we're good with those. Thank you. Third thing is, could I have somebody take minutes for tonight, since I'm going to share my screen and it's just a lot to do in general. Thank you, Jennifer. You're on mute, just so you know, in case you want to say anything.
I will take the minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. You're probably too relaxed after being in the Galapagos, I get. Lucky you. Okay, so Shannon's on the line too. Shannon, right now, and we can go over this briefly. I sent you this initial survey. I think, Shannon, we've had 366 surveys to date returned, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Thanks. I see you nodding your head. I don't hear you.
Yeah. Well, that's when you look at the table, that's how many respondents responded to at least.
Yeah, we have 367. For some reason, if you look there, someone skipped this one question, but yeah, there's 367.
Yeah. So Alyssa, just to be careful when we look at other data, it's not always, some skip some things like questions 7 and 8, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll just, in general, the survey's still open, Shannon, and we had planned
it's still open.
keeping it open till next Wednesday, was it?
Yeah.
So one of the decisions we need to make tonight is, do we want to keep it open? And yeah, if we do, and I will tell you that Shannon distributed to the town committees, a number of people in town. I submitted it to the Concord Bridge, and they put it in the bridge. Obviously, you probably all saw it. They put the QR code there. We distributed through Friends of White Pond on their website and also on the Facebook page. And then Evan just recently sent to the DPOA. So we had hoped to get a lot of responses from the bridge and from these other various activities. We don't know. It doesn't look like the bridge actually garnered a lot of survey answers for some reason, which was surprising to me because we'd already had like about 350 when that QR code went out. So that's just the background. So any questions on that?
No.
So I'm trying to move this thing here. So the first question, how often do you frequent White Pond? You can see the numbers there. 38 people never frequent it, which I thought was interesting, but they still did the survey. What do you value about White Pond? And the biggest thing was swimming, wildlife habitat and observation, and paddle boarding, boating. Then there's some fishing, ice skating, and then other. And Shannon, we didn't break down the other on this one, right? That's the one that we still have to kind of Pareto.
Yeah, I just don't think we had enough time this time.
Yeah, we'll do some more data analysis, but it's interesting because I thought this was interesting on the fishing question because, we continue to be stocked, and they stocked 2 weeks ago and we've seen very little fishing action. So anyway, that's the breakdown of what they value about White Pond. Are you aware that White Pond Beach is open to the public for one-day swimming? And that was, you can see 67% said yes, and another 33 said no. And some of the comments will indicate that they had no idea. Some people didn't know the town even, had bought or has the beach management now. Are you aware of the reduction of algal blooms at White Pond over the past 2 years? And 78% did no, so that's actually good. Do you have concerns regarding White Pond? Yes. So almost, 2/3 have concerns. What are your concerns about White Pond? So the biggest one was environmental health of the pond. And then effects of climate change and overuse, overcrowding. You can see the breakdown here on the responses for that one. And again, this is question number 6. We did start the Pareto on that one for others, so we will get into that. So the next question, how would you rate the policy enforcement at the town beach? And this was the breakdown. Hang on, if you see this one, 316 answered, so you'll notice a lot of people skipped this question. And I think there was, even with us when we were talking, there was maybe some confusion about what this meant. But anyway, the people who did respond, there's the breakdown right there. So that's enforcement at the town beach. Then when you go to the next question, how would you rate the policy enforcement at the town conservation land? And you can see the breakdown here. Extremely lax, 15.5, lax, 23% almost, appropriate, about 56, strict, extremely strict. And if you compare it to this one, you can see the Cove, I can't, this is a PDF, so I can't combine them together, but you can see that the extremely lax and lax is much more significant at the Cove versus the town beach. I don't think there's that much of a surprise. And then this is one thing which I was trying to start the Pareto. Shannon did, and Shannon, thank you so much, because these came from SurveyMonkey, and so these ones up here are a lot easier obviously to get graphs from, but these others that we asked obviously are real comments people write in, and that's a little harder to tabulate in Pareto like this, so, or bar chart. So that's something, I'll show you one that's in one we just started. And again, Shannon, thank you so much for your help, because working full-time and doing this, it's hard. So I really appreciate that help. Thank you.
Yeah, no
we all
problem.
thank you. So before we move on, does anybody want to comment or question about this part of the survey?
I guess the only thing is, sounds like we could do for more education about the beach being available to other people. I mean, about 2/3 of the people knew and 1/3 didn't, so that's room for education. The only other comment, I mean, I didn't even know what Sachem Cove was called, and I've been going there for 25 years till I get on this task force. So on that question, maybe people didn't know what Sachem Cove was,
Yeah, I think you're right. There's always obviously negative comments, but there were some like that. And then there was a general misunderstanding of these two. I don't think people understood what we really meant by enforcement, but you'll see some of the answers, the actual comments will say things like Jennifer had talked about, for example, when the lifeguards leave, what happens? There's a lot of comments about it, not good things, right? And when can they stay later? But the policy enforcement, and a few people said the rules are too strict, and then a lot of people said it's not enforced enough. So, I mean, these are individual comments, and that's why we're trying to pray to them to try to say which ones are the top ones we're seeing. But I'm sure, and Shannon, we probably, when we're finally done, we should definitely share this, or Carl, even because you had the contact with Anna. We might want to, let Anna know about some of the comments, because there are comments about the town beach. Our thing was really more about the protection of White Pond, but there were comments about the beach and how they operated. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, good. That's a good observation, Carl. So maybe that's one of the recommendations we put in the Excel sheet that you're managing for us, or to put it out there for a thought.
To get this to Anna.
Well, no, how you were keeping the list of,
yes,
potential
but what do you want me to add to
recommendations.
the sheet that we let the rec department know this, get this?
No, what I mean is, you know how you were, you were keeping,
Yeah,
an Excel
no,
sheet of our recommendations from the
Yep.
task force, that thing.
yeah, but what line item do you want me to add to it?
I'm saying that you were saying maybe we want to get some, we recommend that I don't know if this is our recommendation or not, but you mentioned that maybe we need to get the word out more about
Oh, okay,
that one.
yep, I get you.
And maybe that's just something, you know, how on the columns you started, you know, who's responsible, that would be Park and Rec, right?
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
okay, thanks. Any other comments on this part of the survey?
What is, you are saying something about Fredo, the results? What
Oh,
is that word? For the-
sorry. So like, you see how these are bar charts here?
Yes, yes.
And they're showing, you know, these questions, extremely lax, whatever.
Yeah.
So when we got the like 137 of the general comments on question 9, you know, they're all over the map, but I want to Pareto, when I say Pareto, I want to say, okay, how many had a link to septic systems? Because there was a lot. How many had some word about algae or the APOD? There were a lot. Septic system, sewer, Stations Cove, the Ranger, there were a lot. So when I say Pareto, so we don't have to take discrete data just one at a time. We'd be looking at the bigger picture, right? Where people had some more, you know, 50 people might have mentioned the Cove, for instance, and 40
Okay, I
people
just-
mentioned algae.
I just
That's-
didn't know the word.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. That's what I mean, though. Good question. Thank you.
So are those, can we get just a list of the comments that were supplied?
You can. It's the survey's still open, so we talked about this being a preliminary, and I'm gonna be able to show you one right now. Can you see what I just switched to?
Yes.
Yes,
So this is a list that Shannon grabbed from the Survey Monkey, and then Shannon took the next step of trying to group them at least in another form, which I'll show you in a minute. But we can go through these quickly. Remember, individual comments here. And I'll kind of just scroll, I'll give a couple minutes for each.
Well, can you send it to us?
I will, I said. So do you want me to go through them now, or do you want to just
Yeah,
get?
Let's go through them. If that's, if we have time.
Yeah, let's go through them quickly, I think. And these are in no order, right? These are just how the surveys were looked at. And that's why like I said, I don't know if I can show you this one, hang on. And I'll send you this. How do I move this thing? I'm so used to Teams, I don't really manage Zoom as much. I don't have it up there. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see it. You just need to scroll down as we go.
But
So
you can,
I
this
can
is a
see-
different one. Can you see
Oh.
the Excel sheet?
No.
Oh, hang on.
That's if it's easier for me to screen share, I can do that too. I'm still at work, so have all these monitors in front of me.
Yeah, thanks. You know what it is? I had started, let me send this to you real quick. I had started trying to color code as I indicated to you. So let me send you an email. All right. Actually, you know what, Shannon? Why don't you just share the other matrix that has started, and then we can send it to the task force after we finish the color coding. How about that?
Okay.
So I have to give you permission, or you can take it.
No, I should just be able to go ahead.
So these are the same
All right.
comments. Thank you. And so you see Shannon put headers. She tried to divide them this way: enforcement policy, environmental protection, recreation, swimming, community, and enforcement policy, something. And so I don't know which way it's easier for the task force to look at it. What I was going to do, unless somebody else wants to do it, I was taking each column and row And when I saw the word LG and APOD, because I looked at the data already, I could see there was, significant comments about the APOD and LG. So I was going to make that one color so it pops out at you. And then there were significant comments about sewer and septic. That would be another one. These were things that we saw multiple responses about, as opposed to one-off things. Like one was pretty funny, allow nude bathing at the beach. So we don't really care about that one, right? So I'll ask all of you there, you're seeing this spreadsheet. Would you rather just go through the comments discreetly right now, just to kind of get a look at them, or through this way? Carl, no matter.
I'd
Sorry, whatever's quickest.
be nice to have seen them before the meeting so that we could.
Yeah, well, we're working on it, Melissa, and maybe you can take one of these as an action item to try to, summarize them together. It's an open survey still, as we said. So thank you. Can you read that? The only benefit of the other one is it's got bigger font, I think.
I can read it.
Jennifer, do you have
I
can read it? Okay, all right. So then Shannon
Okay,
just will,
so you all just tell me when to scroll.
yeah, thank you.
I'm ready to scroll.
I'm good too.
Okay.
Can we scroll, Shannon?
Yep.
Shannon, also, I mean, you read them as well. If you have anything that you saw that was kind of, that you would see again and again. I think and we have discussed this at our meetings, there's a lot of concern about the future and how the BFRT, the extension of the rail trail, is going to impact the pond. A lot of concern there. And I think, of course, makes sense. Shannon, were there any other ones that stood out to you?
I would just say enforcement in general. I think probably had the most comments. I mean, I think there were comments about maybe teenage lifeguards not being the best enforcers at the town beach. There were quite a few of those, and yeah, I would say enforcement probably had the most total comments. Are you guys ready for me to scroll too?
Yeah. Oh, that's a little bit too far.
Mhm. There's our clothing optional section needed.
I have a confession. My partner's a prankster and he put that in.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
But he That's not a serious submission. as
No,
you
I know, but it's a great, I thought it was good. Jennifer, if there was more than one, we would have a Pareto too. A small one. Yeah, again, some of these would be more pertinent to the, for the beach, the seniors comment about a reduced admission, for example. Obviously, that's not part of our charter.
Right.
So I think that would be one of the things too. We'd just take out the noise. Can you go to the left a little, Shannon? To the first column is not showing on mine, at least. Can you guys, maybe it's just
So-
that I have a different
see
view.
it.
Thank you. There's a lot about Sachem's Cove, as you might expect. Cigarette butts, garbage, a lot about the ranger. Many people mentioned they've never seen the ranger, and a lot of comments about enforcing, or having that person more often. And
But
then, go
I
ahead.
haven't seen any of
No, I
those
was gonna
yet.
say, but I bet half people, like myself, I never go over there, so half the people probably either at the downtown beach or something like that, so they may not never get over there. I never get
That's
over
right.
there.
True. And some people, I don't go to the town beach often. I know Jennifer does, like talked about after the lifeguards leave, it's, a free for all over there, and, no controls or enforcement of anything then. And also to Shannon's point about, are they really checking people even if they're members? Because they can come down through the boat ramp and then just come in swimming. So that's, I don't know if that's our bailiwick, but again, that would be something we could let, that's why I think the survey might be valuable for Anna. Again,
So
though,
Anna
I
would,
think
Anna
it is
would
an
not,
interesting question because,
Yeah.
there seems to be a different concern about swimming when it's at the town beach and the parcel next to the town beach and when it's at Sachem's Cove.
and Beth, just, Anna is not responsible for the driveway. That's a state.
oh, thank you, Carl.
She would not regulate, people swimming there, but it is, I mean, like they said, I saw the thing, there was a barbecue there and there's all these trucks and people are parking illegally and people swimming there. That is totally true. But Anna's folks are not gonna enforce that.
So, yeah, because there were some comments about the parking too, right? So that's
Yeah,
all
they
the
all
state.
park on the
Okay.
side of the road there now.
Okay.
The road was widened. And so there's a ton of illegal parking and,
Which is, which is unsafe in terms of emergency vehicle access.
Yeah, that's a good point also.
That's
I don't know
it's a
if you
difficult
remember, there
question.
used to be right after the town purchased it or was gifted it, there used to be two like green gigantic gates that they could put up to prevent people from parking
yep,
in the lot. And
Yep.
those were removed during the construction of the whole place. And they used to be able to lock those and close them at night. It's interesting. They're no longer there.
yeah, and they closed the main parking lot for the whole winter. They put the
Right.
boulders, they used to move the boulders there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think the DCR ramp is there because of emergency access. So whether there was I know there is no, I don't know if there is any emergency access anywhere else. I don't think so. But that wasn't the reason for the boat ramp being there. It's just sort of maybe an added benefit.
Lots of positivity on the APOD and algae. And there's also some, it might be people who haven't been around for a while, misconception that algae is still a big problem, which it hasn't been for the past 2 years. So. Can you scroll down again or move? Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought that was interesting too. There was, I'd say, a handful of comments about the survey itself, which, you know, there's obviously no perfect survey, but there's one right there. So I'll take the results with a grain of salt because we don't know geographically where the people who answered it are. We were trying to get as many people as we could. So I guess it is flawed in that aspect.
One thing, Beth, I noticed in the paper, it didn't really highlight it. It's kind of like just this little box with the, you know, this is a White Pond survey. I thought
Yeah.
it would have been good if there was a couple of lines just describing what it was.
Yeah. I mean, you're right.
My wife blew right by it. She didn't even notice it. So until I told her it was on the second page.
And I had to look for it myself. I was just pleased at least they put it in, you know, and they put it in fast. But you're right. You're right.
I think we can scroll.
Well, I see a couple notes on traffic, but you know, they do limit. I mean, Anna limits it to 400 folks that can be members, and then there's limited to how many the lifeguards can. You know, there's only so many people they'll allow based on safety, based on how many lifeguards can cover. But so to alleviate, I don't know what she can do to add more people. You know, that would just it's accessibility versus crowds. You know, what it's only so much you can do comfortably.
I
Yeah, well,
wonder
there
if
was
on
a
the most
comment.
crowded days, we actually do exceed or get near that 400 people. That's a lot of people for that little beach. Do they have any figures on like record attendance or anything?
I think Anna does have that. I can check on that.
Yeah, I thought you did. I didn't think, I thought one of the comments was we never exceeded it this year.
She did. I remember seeing the sign. It was maxed. You know, at the beach there was a sign, or at the driveway there was a sign that said they're maxed out.
I went one time and it said it was closed. It was full.
Yeah, interesting. Because there was another comment about, you know, a few about Walden, you know, what did they close and then people just come and swim here? So
Yeah.
same thing can happen, right?
But again, she's only controlling that beach. It could be a ton of people coming down the driveway.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's a couple of the comments, right?
Yep.
And so maybe the lifeguards don't have they don't have the enforcement authority to stop people. Maybe is what one of the issues are.
Yeah. No, they definitely don't have the authority. Whether we can do that a different way, I don't know. It's a state. So the Rangers town, right? The Rangers town
Yes.
employee.
Ranger of town,
yeah.
the pond is a state resource that's open to the public.
Can you scroll, Shannon, please?
I don't know if I agree with it. We can recommend that they don't allow other towns in, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Like I know people from Acton that belong.
Which
I
one,
don't-
Carl?
I'm just saying they're saying they're worried about the amount of people that
Oh,
you could
yeah.
limit to Concord, but I don't know if that's a good idea, but that is something. we could
Yeah, a few
consider, I guess.
people, yeah, said just for the town of Concord, but then there's some people who said it should be open as a resource to all, right? So
Yeah,
there's both sides.
there's quite a few people from out of town that belong.
We probably didn't get a lot of responses from people outside of town. And I wonder if really that reflects on the fishing too. Wonder if a lot of the fishing people that come are people from out of town and then weren't aware of the survey.
Okay, can we scroll again?
Yeah.
Can you all see the far left column?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks. It's just my computer then.
It's just got numbers a little under column A.
Yeah.
I think we can scroll.
Another comment about the, if a ranger, this person indicates that the town was going to staff a full-time ranger there with enforcement activity.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's continue scrolling. We will
Mhm.
send this out knowing that it's, not complete yet, but it gives you an idea.
Right, because it's 6:35, so I
Yeah.
don't know how much more time we should spend
This
on
is
it.
about halfway through the comments too. If there were,
Oh.
almost 140 comments and we're in the 60s, so it should give probably a good idea of the general.
And Beth, do you want me to send this to Anna now or wait till it's closed?
Oh, no, wait, let's wait.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, thanks. I mean, you can leave it up there now, Shannon, if you're saving here. So, I mean, this is the initial. The one thing is, we have 366 people. We could try to, drum up some more survey participants. If we get another 50 or 100, is it going to change much? And again, it's just one piece of data we're looking at. We're not going to make all our decisions based on this. So what are the thoughts of the task force? Do we keep it open and try to encourage more survey answers, or is this good enough?
I mean, is there something that's going to happen that's going to create a lot more activity? I mean, we're not going to new sources or new media or whatever to get more survey respondents, right? That's where I'm going with that. It's probably be minimal amount of more people, I would think.
I would think too, except for whoever made the comment about people like fishermen and fisher people, stuff like that. I don't know if personally any of the task force members sent it to people they know who might use the pond, who could be out of towners, etc. I mean, the best I could do is put it up on the Facebook page, so people have to look, right? If they're looking at it, then they'll see it. But you could make one last run in sending it to neighbors or colleagues if you think that might be helpful or not. I'm totally neutral. So that's why I'm asking the team here.
I think it probably is biased more towards, of course, the people that, as we said, we know that the people who 39% of the people will frequently use the pond, so we didn't get as many people who aren't as aware of it. But then again, I don't know how to reach out to those other people who aren't as directly impacted or, involved with the pond.
We could put a QR code posted right at the fishing ramp. And say that, because we're not going to get the fishermen from out of town, I don't think, any other way.
Right. I don't think we'll get many fishermen now. Whenever I've checked, there's only one or two now because the pond was stocked at the end of September. So it's not, that's when the bulk of the activity, I think, was. And it's past that season now.
Yeah, but there's,
My,
go ahead, Jennifer.
my opinion is that, it was never gonna be perfect, and we got a decent number of responses. And I think we should keep it open till next Wednesday or whenever you said it was gonna close, and just work with what we have, given that it's almost November. And we're supposed to finish our work in December.
I second that motion. I mean, actually, it's more than I thought we would get, 300 and whatever. That's more than I thought we'd get.
John, do you think it'd be worth putting a QR code over there at the beach? I mean, one of us, somebody can take the action item to post it on a piece of, laminated sign.
Yeah, we could try. You'd have to have more than just the QR code. You have to say what it was,
Yeah, kind of like if you look down the White Pond, if you look at the town website, it had a little introduction and then had the QR code. I mean, maybe it could be put up there.
Yeah, that introduction would be nice if you're going to do that. That's
Yeah. I personally will not be doing it. I'm out of town, so I don't know if you would like to volunteer to do that, if you think it's worth it.
Oh, okay.
Want to
Well,
give it a try?
If you do come up with something, I think if you could post it at the Varick Road parking lot too, because what I've seen is the fishermen park there and walk into the conservation land.
What road?
Varick. That's where the 3 spots are at down near the public water supply.
Oh, so just in the parking lot there?
Yeah.
Okay.
If someone just comes to our office and picks it up, I can make them for you.
Oh, okay.
I just have no idea where these exact locations are, but so if you guys just come and pick up the posters, I can make them for you.
Okay, where's your office?
We're at 22 Monument Square.
The big
Okay.
town offices.
When should I come?
You can come tomorrow. We're just open until 12:30 tomorrow, but I mean, I can definitely do it tomorrow morning if you'll come by tomorrow.
So you're going to make laminated signs with this, and is that it with the introduction on it and the QR code?
Yeah, sure. I think we got a laminator in our closet.
That'd be great. And then
That is.
I just have to get like a wooden stake or something and staple it onto it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Or a stapler. There might be some even wood things. Shannon, you had something like take our survey, like John was mentioning, something to kind of introduce it to.
Right.
Please. Yeah, thank you. Oh, that's great to offer. Thanks. Hey, John, I didn't know that was called Varick Road either, but it's kind of, where the Dover Street, you go in through
I
Dover.
think I've been down there,
Yeah.
You kind of go as far as you can go, and I've been in those there's only one place where there's parking lot.
Yeah, and there's like the well houses over on the other side sometimes and there's one house there. So I think you'll find it
Yeah.
if you go into that Dover neighborhood. So you'd put one there and then one at the town beach by the ramp where the other fishermen and people who
Right.
come, because there's still people going to the beach all the time now. So that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
And we should put one in front of town hall.
This is a historic building. We'll have to go to the HDC for that.
Okay, never mind. All right. All right, okay, so I hear we're agreeing, we're gonna continue to try to get some more data. I'll send you out these 2 slides we just saw briefly, and remember, it's not complete yet. And what we need to be thinking about is if we do see common things, you know, that's something we need to consider for our recommendations, correct?
Yeah.
Want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of these concerns, I guess, you know, kind of bypass the whole thing about protecting the pond. I mean, it's like, you know, there's too many swimmers, and it's not really clear that everything directly is connected with our charge to make recommendations to protect the pond.
I totally agree.
True.
So I think one of the tasks we should do, if somebody wants to do it even, is to try to just, you know, red line so we can see them, remove those ones that have nothing, that we can't have an impact on.
Yeah, or as we've said before, to, you know, to send them on to Anna.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because admission, you know, money, restricting it to, there's some things that are just not in our bailiwick. I agree totally. So I think we can shorten those comments by looking at it from that perspective too. Like I said, get rid of the noise, right?
Mhm.
Okay. The other thing, I don't know if it came up at the last meeting. It was either Carl or Evan might have mentioned. Well, wait, Carl, were you at the last meeting or not when we did
Yeah,
the survey?
I didn't say a word. I was just on the phone. You guys were talking about the survey. I just giving you my
Okay.
comments on email
Because I
before
remember,
yeah.
I remember holding the meeting to see if you were coming, because you had said you were, and I never saw you show up, but.
Yeah, I
but
was on
that's-
my cell phone. my iPhone.
Okay, so those meeting minutes that you approved, I'll just have to make one change. Carl was there. I didn't have his name on it. Is that okay with everybody? Thank
Mhm.
you. One of the things that somebody mentioned last time was we have to be thinking of these recommendations, and one of them is, are we going to recommend that a task force or committee be in place? Is that one of our recommendations? And that's something we really do need to discuss. It's 6:45. We don't have to discuss it now, but we can real briefly. Are we going to recommend that somebody will take over when we're done?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe it doesn't have to be as big a task force, so we can talk about that. But yeah, I mean, somebody's got to represent the pond and coordinate things as far as continue to recommend things like, you know, like all the things we're going to recommend. I mean, we got to keep doing that. Keep putting the, you know, the APODs, or, you know, all the stuff we're talking about. I would think, but it doesn't necessarily have to be as often or as robust a team. I don't know if we can do that with just a couple of people, or I don't know what the rules are for the town.
You know, I mean, I don't know the answer, but just thinking it out, there aren't any other ponds in town that have their separate committees. The Conservation Commission, you know, has jurisdiction over a lot of the land and the natural resources of the town. So there's also a trails. So like, for example, Punkatassett or something there's no task force or advisory committee for Punkatassett, but the Conservation Commission, you know, is the sort of regulatory and oversight body for it. It's, you know, a lot of the questions that we have to do with like the steps. It's more of a coordination between DPW, recreation, and conservation, of which there doesn't seem to have been much coordination of in the past, because we know we have these septic stormwater concerns with the recreation department beach, and we have all the different conservation land, and it as an alternative, and I'm really just talking out loud, that, you know, perhaps it doesn't need to be a citizens advisory committee as much as just an internal working group within the town for better coordination of the different town bodies.
I think one thing that's unusual about White Pond is that, I mean, I don't know how much the town has control over the watershed. I mean, they have the conservation land, fine, but you know, all the issues with respect to septic systems and all that, that seems to be kind of a private thing. And if there isn't a group that's local there, kind of looking at that and trying to control it, I don't know that the town can, you know, natural resources can really do anything about it.
I don't even, if private people can either. I know Jane Prentice has this idea of sort of helping to sponsor a 501c3 that would have more of a ability to fund, raise funds and disperse funds appropriately for things like stormwater management and maybe even septic system, loans or something. And so that's another alternative to consider, is to recommend that funding of or organization of a 501c3.
To that end, that's what the Friends of White Pond is. It's not Jane. I think Josh Gelper has taken over from the Friends, where Katie Blair used to be part of it, started it long ago. And that's one thing they've been discussing in their meetings, doing a 501c. I don't know if the town can help in that aspect. I think it's a group of private people who become a nonprofit, but yeah, it's been discussed a lot. Jennifer, oh, and John, to your comment, the one thing I was going to say, yeah, this one other committee or group that is involved, per what you're saying, is Board of Health, because they have to make sure and ensure the water is free of coliforms, for example, and they're responsible for septic. So that's one other group. So that was a good point. Thank you. Jennifer, anything from you on, a ongoing committee or a recommendation, thoughts?
I tend to think it would be a good idea to have a group that's specifically charged with making sure that the recommendations are moved forward. I feel as if there's no specific group that takes charge, things could really fall through the cracks.
Okay, thank you. So when we do have our next meeting, I guess that will just be something to think about if you have strong opinions about or not, and we'll come back, and Evan will be there too as well, I hope. So we'll have the full complement of our task force. And speaking of that, I do need a volunteer. I put it on the agenda to start the piecing together what our report would look like. I think Linda Escobedo had sent us a couple examples a while back, and that table, that Excel sheet that Carl had started was, the direct correlation to one of the tables that one of those groups did use for their recommendations to the select board. But we need to start the I don't want to say the header, the introduction, right? It doesn't have to be long and drawn out, but here's what it is. And then the table would be the recommendations to the select board. Is anybody willing to start that part of the writing process? Carl's been doing the actual table with the recommendations. Anybody want to volunteer to start that?
Write the introduction?
Yes.
Sure, I'll do that.
Thank you so much.
You could take a lot from the charge that we were given, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Beth, it would be helpful if you guys tentatively discussed when you wanted to meet next,
Yeah,
because
I
then
know.
if we say we're going to close the survey next week, I can make sure things are ready.
Yep. Thank you, Shannon. That was going to be my next point. So I know last week everybody was traveling. So the day is the 19th. If we close the survey, it will be the 25th. Do we want to meet in, how soon would you all be ready? The 9th the 2nd of November, it's like 2 weeks from now, 14, 16 days. Is that too soon?
Oh, okay by me.
I think the 9th is fine as long as we get this information before the meeting.
The first one was the 2nd, so in November. November 1st or 2nd. The next 2 weeks I'm on the road. And then the following week. Is Thanksgiving the 24th this year?
23rd.
Thank you, thanks, okay. Would the 1st or 2nd work? No, sorry. 31st is Halloween. Oh, no.
It's Tuesday.
How about Monday, the 6th? Would anybody be available Monday, the 6th
I can do it.
or the 7th? Either one of those? Is Monday okay, the 6th?
7th is election day. Does that make a difference?
Right,
I have a select board meeting on the 6th, but if I can send everything to you guys ahead of time, I don't want to hold up your meeting date.
I'm fine with either date.
Me too.
The 2nd or the 1st or the 2nd, I'm sorry.
The
the
6th, the 6th or the
6th or
7th, 6th or 7th.
I can do both.
Alyssa,
I can do the 7th after 5:30.
not the 6th. John,
Oh, the 6th
Can-
is fine. 6th is fine.
okay. John, is either
I can
day
do-
a no for you, 6th or 7th?
I can do either.
Okay, so Shannon, if you're gonna be, it would be better, I think, if you're there because of the survey. Can we do it the 7th then, so you can be around? Or
Yeah,
that's
that's
election
fine.
day? Okay, good. Should we say
Uh,
6 o'clock again and just be done by 7?
That's good.
If it's Zoom, yes.
Okay. Okay. We'll do Zoom or just, I think Zoom is better because it is election day. Probably a lot of these places will have polling and stuff. So we'll do Zoom, Shannon, if you wanna,
So I'm
Yep,
sorry,
sounds
what
good.
time did you say? Because I'll be in Chicago. What time?
6 PM,
6
5
p.m.?
PM where you are.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Okay.
Okay. Shannon, I'll put another agenda together and send it
Okay,
to you.
sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay, great. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I think that was all I had on the agenda for tonight. Oh, John, go
Shannon,
ahead.
so I walk into the townhouse tomorrow morning, and where's your office? Like on the left, on the right?
If you go upstairs, the stairs are right on your right-hand side.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the top of the stairs, my office is on the right.
Okay,
And I sit right in the front.
okay, thanks.
She's right next to
Okay.
our town manager, John. You won't miss her.
Okay,
Thanks, John, for volunteering to do that. Thanks, Jennifer, for doing the minutes and offering for the intro. There was other examples too, on and I can send you some if you can't locate them. But you
Okay,
can do it your own. You're a good writer, so just do whatever you feel.
thank you. So are we adjourning?
Yeah,
Yeah.
anybody else have any open items or can I adjourn the meeting? Okay, we'll adjourn the meeting 6:55 PM.
Thank you. So moved.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, bye-bye.
Bye.